Abusua me no kase ensem wa kwaso e wo man Ghana na wadaworoma yekuru bia yenso ye de eba besom na Bank of Ghana e de betu de sika bia yira na saa sika na ayira no eno na park empanimfo atonsa e de afre yewura Bank of Ghana pani ye Johnson Siama so womra wo metoto na no na wo musa ne kwan kora sika no e fa so ayira ye saa sika no e wo he me pacho na eno na my TV Africa yekuru yenso ye de ba besom mesero say also subscribe, like, nothing, sign, share, man from Wichichi and the bench and a park, public account committee, and Ra, Ankaya, Tumamentu, Ewo Hobusia, Jebrenet, and somewhere course to Ewo Holy Bibra.
We believe that the cancellation was worth it. There were quite too many issues under the goal for oil that we needed to unearth, and therefore the board authorized an external audit. We got PPA approval for the audit just about 2 months ago, and so that exercise is underway. In the case of the Gold 4 reserves, as the name suggests, the objective was to help us build reserves. Now, based on the data that NA has provided so far, the evidence is clear that it is not a question of shutting it down, but it's the question of enhancing its efficiency, looking at inefficiencies that you have to take out. And that is why we went after Gold Board. I also have a table here I can give to you. You see the reductions that we have brought to bear. Madam Chair, it will interest you to know, for example, that until last year, especially the exports of the small-scale gold sector, we were just lucky nothing happened before 2025 because there was no insurance component after those consignments land at the destination country. And we had to insist that we needed to protect Ghana, even for that 5% that had to be paid. And so currently everything is paid before the consignment is lifted. Otherwise, there has to be an insurance guarantee. So going forward, let's look at these aspects that we can fix in the interest of the country. And it calls for a unified approach. The external auditors have already been authorized, as I mentioned, by the Bank of Ghana board. The goal for oil is being audited. The goal for reserves will also be audited. When that exercise is over, we are happy to sit with you to look at where there were infractions or not and what to do with it. But the best thing now that will be in the national interest is to look again at the trading model and to, for example, decide, should the Ministry of Finance make a budgetary allocation to take care of the costs, given that this is supporting our reserves build-up? Those are the type of questions we need to agree on.
Governor, as for those questions, they've already been answered. Ministry of Finance allocated $217 million for Gold Board operations in the 2025 budget. So as for those questions, they've already been answered.
Sorry
it is just that when you look in the budget from January to September 2025, nothing was given to them. So that allocation was already in the budget, but nothing was given to them. Then Ministry of Finance comes to tell us in the budget that for the end year projection, that's about 4.5 billion Ghana cedis, they are going to utilize it. So if you say that we should now go and find out whether Ministry of Finance should fund it or not, that was already made in the 2025 budget, which Ministry of Finance from January to September did not give a dime to Gold Board. So,
if I can explain,
yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Governor.
So you need to differentiate between two things. Yeah. There's the trading amount, and then there's also something to take care of the inherent costs.
But Governor, once Ministry of Finance, one Ministry of Finance gives you the allocation, it is within that framework. You will have to use it per the Public Financial Management Act, and then reports. So it is up to you. But once that allocation has been made in the budget, whether it is for this or that, provided you are using it per the Public Financial Management Act, you don't have a problem. And so that was already in there. $217 million US dollars. Ministry of Finance from January to September did not pay a dime according to the budget that was submitted to us in November 2025. And the Ministry of Finance says from September to year end, I am going to utilize the 4.5 billion. That means the 270 has been translated into Ghana cedis, and they are going to utilize the 4.5 billion Ghana cedis. I cannot ask you whether it's been used or not because you don't run the Ministry of Finance budget. But maybe in the mid-year, we will know, or we would see, or we can come by way of questions to the Minister for Finance. So that conversation has already been had, and it was in the 2025 budget that Ministry of Finance has allocated 217 million US dollars to them, and it was up to them to utilize the money per the Public Financial Management Act, and they wouldn't have any problem at all.
Madam Chair,
but
I'm trying to explain one thing. There are inherent costs in the trading model. That inherent cost is currently being borne by the Bank of Ghana, not just in 2025, but since the program started. The losses that were incurred on the gold for oil in 2024, it was borne by the Bank of Ghana in 2024. The losses that were incurred in 2024 under the gold for reserves was borne by the Bank of Ghana. And so what I'm saying is that because of the cost involved, it's not enough to just allocate amount for the gold trade. You have to allocate something to say if there are costs incurred, government will absorb it to this amount. And then that way you free the financials of the Bank of Ghana. Madam Chair, and I'm saying this because the Bank of Ghana, due to what has happened since 2022, remember someone says we are an insolvent central bank. We already have our own issues. We are actually operating at very, I want to use my words carefully. So we are not in a position to shoulder those costs going forward. As we speak, we are having a conversation with the minister to see if they can reimburse us, even for those costs that were passed on to Bank of Ghana since 2024. So going forward, the key thing or the key question is, who takes charge of the costs incurred in that exercise? And if Government of Ghana decides to budget for those, because it's a quasi-fiscal activity, and then if we have some further reductions in other aspects of the cost, then we can operate this model going forward. And so maybe you can join us, you can be our advocate to government to ensure that going forward the costs are well budgeted for. And I tell you, we can operate this model efficiently.
Governor, respectfully, previously there was no allocation in the budget for these exercises. But come 2025, there was an allocation for such activities. And when you translate about 4.5 billion, how much of the loss have you made so far? Then we can look at it and see whether the 4.5 can cover it or not, because per what I know, government budgeted for it with an amount of 270 million US dollars in the budget.
So yes, it was in the budget, but the actual cash, got provided in December at the end of the year.